I bought the smartwatch as part of an Amazon warehouse deal. So in addition to the standard stickers and branding you would have on the box if you bought it brand new, it also has a sticker on the side showing that it was inspected by Amazon and meets all of their standards and hopefully is in working order. The description said that it had some minor scuffing and cosmetic damage, but that the smartwatch itself was actually functional. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and open it up now. And I think I actually opened it upside down, maybe? I don't know. Oh, wait, no. It's supposed to open like this. Okay. So, this is just some foam padding here attached to the box. Nothing up there. Here we have the watch. It's in a little plastic bag. Alright. And it looks like it's in pretty good shape to me. Very clearly a derivative of an Apple Watch. That same aluminum housing. The button's offset a little bit on the Apple Watch. It's actually up here. And then you've got one action button here on the side. Maybe? No, I think it's actually a SIM card tray. And then a little speaker here. Little piece of cardboard. Oh, neat. It comes with a micro USB cable. Pretty standard. But it looks like an Amazon brand cable, so I'm assuming the original was kind of lost. And a highly suspect looking charger that I'm not sure if I'm going to trust to use, so I might use something else. The user guide is about as helpful as you would expect. It has some basic information on the phone. How to wear it, how to connect it over Bluetooth to your phone. The font is just like crazy tiny. It's like a little tiny book. And it kind of walks you through the settings. It comes with a default password too, which I guess we're going to get to in a little bit. You have the option of changing it or leaving it as is. And there's also a warranty card on the back, which kind of blows my mind a little bit, but apparently this company offers warranty. When you first plug it in, it kind of goes through a little sequence to let you know that it's charging. Shows you the brand name and then shows you like the standard little charging indicator. So we're going to let it sit for a while and charge up so we can play around with it unplugged. If you take the back off the watch, you can actually remove the battery. And the most mind-blowing part about this thing for me is that you can actually put a SIM card in here and it actually can be used as a full functioning smartphone. So you can make calls, you can send texts, all that stuff from the watch itself. And it's built right into it. It says 3D sound on it. I don't know what that's really referring to, and I can't tell what this is. I think it's the microphone, although I'm not sure why it would be covered with this piece on the back. So I can't tell what the sensor is, but I'll probably take it apart later and try and figure out what it does. So for overall fit and finish, it's like from maybe 10 feet away, you could maybe mistake it for an Apple Watch. The strap has like a metal pin coming through here and then through here that makes it so it's really, really tough. Like the top parts are flexible, these bend, these don't. These are really, really sturdy, so I imagine it'd be fairly uncomfortable to wear. Front-facing camera, it's got a microphone port and speaker port on the side. This is actually the charging port here. You can pop it open and it's micro USB. And then it has one little adjustable dial on the side. The strap's actually held on with two little pins. And you just kind of line it up and push. And it's really tough to get them in. And the manual kind of says, yeah, it's tough, but you know, you do it enough times, you get used to it. You can see on the back, oh, I think I scratched it already. Oh no, we're good. And on the back, it's just a little plastic back. There's no sensors, there's no magnetic charging port, nothing like that. Now we're going to go ahead and turn it on and just see what happens. So it's a pretty low contrast screen. It's kind of tough to make out. But it tells you what time it thinks it is. So So it looks like we started charging it 8 minutes ago, so it's giving you that time. And your only options here are phone, message, menu, and back. So we're going to play around with this. From a lock screen, when you press the little crown on the side, it hits you with a fake chronograph. You can change it by tapping on it. That took like way too many tries. But it goes from fake chronograph to some weird fancy looking watch to like a direct rip off of the Apple Watch. And the crown doesn't actually do anything if you spin it. But if you hold it down, it takes you to the main menu. Connecting to Bluetooth seems pretty straightforward. If you go into the menu, there's actually a Bluetooth icon. And it gives you the option to turn it on or off, the visibility of the watch, and then you can kind of alter the name. I'm going to go ahead and connect it to an iPhone 6. So to connect to the Bluetooth of the iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus, we're going to go ahead and just hit Bluetooth, check the visibility, make sure everything's working here, go over to the Bluetooth, turn it on the phone if it's not turned on already, and wait for it to appear. Visibility is turned on, so it should be showing up. Maybe I have to power it on. Ah, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to try and pair it now. It's taking a minute. I might have actually turned it off. Okay, now I think this is actually, there's a little tab here, and I think it's corresponding with whatever setting I hit last. So now we'll try that again. Okay, now it's asking that the passcode is matched. The answer is yes, and pair. Okay, so now it's matched up. So in theory, it should be connected to this phone, and I'm not sure how useful it's going to be, but we're going to test it and find out. Making a call is pretty straightforward. From the home screen, you just hit the call button, and it brings up a little tiny keypad, really similar to the one on the U8, the COYO watch. It's most likely the same software. So from here you can type in a phone number very gently because the screen is really, really small. And you have the option of the local call, which uses the SIM card on the phone if you're using one, or Bluetooth. It'll do it over Bluetooth. So I triggered it from the phone.
Thanks for calling the Apple Store Short Pump Town Center. Your call may be recorded for quality assurance. I'm an automated system that can handle complete sentences. The Apple Store is currently closed.
It has a volume adjustment.
If you need help now, I may be able to point you in the right direction. What can I do?
There's a smaller speaker, and then there's also kind of like a loudspeaker option. You can also put the person on hold, mute the microphone, all kinds of other things.
One moment, please.
Pretty straightforward. There's also an FM radio function. It uses the headphones as antenna. I don't see where there's a headphone port on it, which makes it kind of tricky. But I read you're supposed to use an earphone for an antenna. There's an alarm clock and an ability to add like favorite contacts. The text messaging is kind of funny. You can sort of send them a little bit. But this is going to be a Android only feature. You can write them out if you have an iPhone, and you can sort of type. You have to use a stylus for this because this keyboard, there's just no way you're getting anything useful out of it, and the crown doesn't actually select the letters. So you're kind of out of luck unless you have a stylus or a little pen. But when you go to send it, it'll say not available, and that's for if you're using an iPhone. Sending a text message is a little trickier. If you're using an iPhone, you can sort of, if it's connected, you can write a message out, and you pretty much have to use a stylus because the screen is just tiny. And like you can see my finger takes up almost 6 keys in a row. But you can, when you go to send it, if you try and add a contact or recipient, it'll say not available, and that's even when it's paired with Bluetooth to the iPhone. So it can't send it through. That's going to be an Android-only feature, but it looks like it should work. You just need to carry a stylus with you or something like that. You can save messages. The settings allow you to change how many you can save. According to the settings, you can also save about 100 on the actual watch itself. Under Tools, you have the option, there's a VIP, you can add like people you frequently contact. There's an alarm setting. There's an FM radio, which you need headphones, and it uses the cord as an antenna. I can't figure out where to plug the headphones in, so I'm kind of out of luck on that one. And then if you go into the menu, there's a lot of other settings. There's like a little calculator you can use, which technically works. But once again, the keys are just so tiny. It's really tough to get anything out of it. There's also a QR code, and this is for Android. If you're trying to download the app to run this phone, there's just a little picture of a QR code, and when you press it, it just turns the whole screen into a QR code. And that's the whole app. And, you know, if you do that, you have to hit the back button to go back. You can go back to menu. And there's a couple other pages. There's a little voice recorder. You can control audio from it, which is pretty standard. You can set it to meeting, silent, outdoor, and those are just for notifications. And there's a lot of settings. These are mostly, a lot of these are going to be connectivity and call settings. This is for if you have the SIM card actually in the phone. Schedule power off. Schedule power on. That's kind of clever. There's no option for any kind of microphone or voice activated notifications or voice activated input, which would make everything a lot smoother. Some of these are kind of weird. This looks like a fish or something. I can't tell what that is. But when you press it, it just says no files. So that might be a media player. There's also a camera. And, you know, it looks okay. You can see the camera. Here's me. And we'll try taking a picture with it. And it actually saved the picture. Great. Super low resolution. It's got to be like 200 by 200 pixels. It is really tiny. But, you know, you can see that I'm using a Nikon. Maybe, if you've got great eyes. But it is kind of a cool feature. Step tracker. This app just kind of displays the logo of the watch. Alright. Has a little browser for media. Once again, a lot of this is Android only, and you have to actually run it. Oh, this selects the face for the watch. Oh no, look at that. It selects the settings. Oh, too cool. Obviously a Google Chrome logo. When you press it, currently not available. Not really surprised there. SIM card not available. Text messages, that's in another one too. Local time. Stopwatch, I guess. Alright, kind of handy. Alarm clock. Has a sleep timer, which is kind of cool. And that's it for apps. So, pretty straightforward stuff. This is definitely like the iPhone knockoff setting right here. And, yeah, now we're back to tools with the radio and everything. Cool software. Standard iPhone knockoff OS. Like, really similar to the COYO in terms of functionality. There's not a whole lot of extra stuff here or anything. Nothing you'd really find on a different phone. The ability to make calls is kind of nice. So now we're going to try and link up some music to it. For the music, I'm going to put on some classic Iron Maiden. Fear the Dark queued up. So when you hit play, it's automatically streaming over Bluetooth to the watch. pretty quiet. You can adjust the volume of it. And it displays song title. You have volume adjuster. It's pretty much maxed out. And you can also change songs, which is kind of cool. Oh, you can't go back, I guess. Alright, so it's kind of useful. Quality is definitely not great. But you can start or stop it from either the phone or the watch. Possibly useful if you're driving and you want to change a song, but other than that, not a whole lot of use. Alright, I set the time correctly on this, so now it actually shows real time. But once again, just like the COYO U8, it really annoyingly only shows the time in 24-hour mode. You can't actually select it to 12, which gets old super fast, so you either learn how to use it or just don't. But it is kind of frustrating that it's not able to be changed. Like most watches, it's definitely meant to be worn on your left hand, so you can use the crown button with your right. The fit's pretty good. It's a little hard to snap this piece in. There's two metal pins that are connected to this metal plate on the back, so when you align it, you have to line it up with the holes, and then you have to push on the pin and just push straight down until it clicks in, which it really doesn't want to do from the get-go, but it will. And the overall fit, like the band feels pretty stiff. It's not the same rubber as even the COYO, which has more of like a rubber feel to it. This is another knockoff smartwatch. This one's a little worse. Definitely in terms of like screen quality, it's substantially worse. This makes a passable attempt at sort of copying the iPhone style. This very much tries to do its own thing, which winds up looking kind of like an Android device. It looks like a tiny Android tablet. It even has the three little buttons on the bottom. Whereas this looks more like an Apple Watch. And I think the camera's actually kind of neat. And the more I play with it, the more I think the camera might be fun to continue toying around with. Yeah, it's kind of a weird one. I'm not sure how many pictures it can take. Your settings are also pretty limited on it. But it's fun to play with. Overall, for $30 or $40, this isn't a terrible watch. If you have an Android device, it's probably a lot more useful. For an iPhone owner, there's really not a whole ton you can do with it. You're kind of limited to kickstarting calls or controlling music, things like that. Nothing too particularly exciting. Some of the features are okay, but overall, for an iPhone user, it's probably not worth the price. For an Android user, being able to send text messages from your wrist would be fun, but once again, you're going to need a stylus or something really, really, really tiny to use it.